Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Connect with Yasmine. My name is Yasmine-Imani McMorrin, and I'm so honored to be running to represent the great folks of Culver City. During the day, I serve as the interim Dean of Students and Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at USC Gould School of Law. And for our city, I serve as the Vice Chair of the General Plan Advisory Committee, as well as on the Equity Strategic Planning Committee for our school district. Today, well, let me just do a quick go into me, because some of the feedback I'm getting is that folks aren't hearing enough about what I'm about. So just about me is I'm really about equity, both in my day job and here in the city. My goal is to make sure that we're centering equity and inclusion in every city policy, our budget, and making sure that we're doing that as well as we're looking at safe and thriving neighborhoods, right? We want to make sure that we are paying attention to our community members that are closest to the harm, particularly in this COVID setting, looking at our renters, our unhoused population, our small businesses, making sure that folks are able to thrive and continue throughout this time. As highlighted at the bottom, please, we welcome you to share the stream out, either create a watch party if you're on Facebook, or, just do a quick share to your friends. We always want to continue to get the word out about the campaign and what we're about. Yes, and please, make sure that you're asking questions and engaging with us in the comment section. You can utilize the hashtags Team Yasmine or hashtag Vote McMorrin. Those are our campaign hashtags. So welcome you to join our team and engage with us there. So just the intention of having these virtual events is, we're trying to meet folks where they are. I was really looking forward to knocking on doors and connecting with you all right here, as I've done with Measure K and for other candidates. Unfortunately, given everything that's going on, that's not possible. So this is just another tool and a medium to reach out. And so the intention of Connect with Yasmine is just to have quick, 15, 20-minute conversations surrounding issues that are central and core to the campaign, and to really bring in folks in my network who have expertise in these areas, and make sure that we're collaborating with these folks to make sure that Culver City can be the best city and space that it can be. So I'm super proud to introduce my colleague on the General Plan Advisory Committee, Kristen Torres Pawling. She is a rock star. She really is a rock star because she newly joined the Motherhood Club. So there's nothing especially in light of just everything that's going on this year. So definitely want to give her kudos for that. She's worked on the LA County's sustainability plan, and she's just a rock star. So I'm so honored that she's sharing space with us this evening. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for that gracious introduction. I'm really excited to be here. And just want to start by saying thank you for running for city council. It's like how many, 100 years of change is right here at our doorstep. So, and you represent that, for me, for my family, and I'm just really excited to be part of Team Yasmine.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying so. Hopefully there will be, we're working so that there may be first now, but there won't be last. We're making sure we're keeping that door open, making sure that we have more representation, and, that's what it's about. Yes. So, okay, so we're going to transition a little bit. So I mentioned that we are both moms. How's that going?
It is going. It's one of the, it's the most joyful thing I've done in my life. My daughter's 3 months old, and she's just at a super fun stage. But at the same time, I am at the stage of needing to return to work. So I like to say time flies when your employer has a bad maternity leave policy. I'm just transitioned. This will be my second week of work. But my spouse and I are trying to figure it out. And, in non-COVID times, we would have liked to have had more help from our family and friends, physically being in our space with us to share the time, but we can't do that. So we're figuring it out, and it's just been, I've been really blessed to have a really great partner in it with my husband. So, yep, we're having a good time, but it is definitely, it elevated for me how bad, especially government employment, maternity and paternity leave policies are. If they exist. So it's, it's something that and it makes, like, I was sort of complaining on Twitter the other day about our GPAC meeting, our General Plan Advisory Committee meeting,
Yes.
Where I had worked all day. I hadn't fed myself dinner. My child was crying and needed to be fed. I wanted to make some comments, and you had to like stand in, the virtual line to make comments. And I was like, please stop crying when I'm going to get called on, because there's so many voices that need to be heard in the GPAC. So all those things bouncing around in my head right now about being a working mom.
Yeah. Well, it was really cool to see, a little snippet of her during the GPAC meeting, because we need to normalize that, sort of this Zoom and this COVID time really has, people's families behind, kids coming up. And I hope that we normalize more of that, and we offer more grace and support and more paid family leave, because that's incredibly important.
Yes.
This is such an important time for bonding, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm glad I got to see her. I'm glad that you're back and you're continuing to make an impact.
Thank you.
Yeah. So really the intention of this conversation was to talk a little bit more about sustainability and learn more about the county's plan and how, we can weave and be intentional about incorporating some of those values into what we're already doing here in Culver City. So to me, So to me, sustainability is, looking at meeting our needs and also thinking about the future and what we're leaving for the next generation, which was a huge part about why I decided to run, because I wanted our community and this world to be better, not only for my daughter, but, yours and all of us collectively, right? Mm-hmm. So and a lot of people keep that and they think about just environmentalism, but what can you pull out for us from the county's plan, or is there anything about that you'd like to pull out for our Culver City audience today?
Yeah. So to me personally, sustainability, and you were referring to what I call transgenerational equity, thinking about are we distributing resources in a way that meets the current demands, but also, or the current needs, but also those of future generations. And the county's plan talks about 5 points of equity, and transgenerational is one of them. Mm-hmm. So definitely, ties straight back in with your point of centering equity in everything. Equity and sustainability is really what brought me to sustainability. And that's really different, for a lot of practitioners in the sustainability space. That's not what they centered, or, I think is sort of the big green organizations, which I've worked for. It's kind of a new concept. And, it's still like, even when they call for donors, it's pictures of polar bears, let's save the polar bears. But right. Really what drew me to sustainability is about people and having a people-centric approach to fighting climate change, to thinking about clean water. We didn't think about the clean drinking water aspect. It's thinking about what are the people and public health aspects of sustainability, of environmental issues, and also, the economy. So how do those three pieces fit together is really what sustainability is about. And in my work at the county, but also sort of throughout my career, it's like thinking about the power of local governments to address those issues, and especially the power of local governments to address those issues together. So if you read the county sustainability plan, it's really predicated on cities, all of the 88 cities of LA working together to achieve really ambitious goals. One agency, even just the city of LA, that's not going to change. That's not going to be enough change, right? So we need the Culver cities, the Gardinas, the Azuzas, the San Fernandos of our region to all work together. And so that the plan, again, I'm reiterate that I'm not here representing the county today. But just as a public document, you can gather that it is really about this kind of partnership, which is unprecedented. There's not a lot of structures for that, and the ones that exist are kind of subpar for achieving these types of ambitious goals, like a fossil fuel-free LA County. That's not, the county alone can't take it on. Any one city can't take it on. But cities like Culver City have a really important role to play, and this week was especially exciting in that phase. Yes. So Yasmine, I'm sure, was like me, trying to follow 2 meetings at once this week with the amortization study and the general plan meeting, but which was nearly impossible while also tending to a 3-month-old. But I kind of got the gist of what happened at amortization.
Deserve an award. I was struggling just having these 2, and Maddie was good.
Yeah, so that's been, I'm excited about what Culver City has been able to do. And I think, what you, Yasmine, when we get you on council, there's so many, to me, the city council part is extremely important, but also there's so many little boards and agencies that really drive some of the sustainability stuff that nobody knows about, that are going to be essential for, formal partnerships. Like there's this thing called the West Side Cities Council of Government that makes major transportation decisions and like transportation funding decisions. So I don't know, Yasmine, I'm really excited about like a Sepulveda bus lane only approach, but that's that totally requires the City of LA partnership, right? Like we just have a part of Sepulveda.
Yeah. And I'm so curious about, because I totally believe in what you're saying. We need to have more bus lanes because we want to incentivize folks utilizing the bus. We want to make we want to get folks out of their cars if we can, because, in COVID, the traffic has gone down a bit, but, it's like a parking lot. Remember when we had GPAC meetings, although I think you ride your bike to many of them.
I would take the bus and then my bike at the last mile problems,
First last mile. Listen, talk about it as something I'm definitely interested in addressing. But there are little wins, like, this week was a win, and working to get the Inglewood oil field closed, but we're like working with and incentivizing other cities to buy into this vision. And for some folks, it feels like, it's like, how do we combat that disbelief that this can really be the case? How do we combat that we can like actually, electrify our buildings because it's, for the betterment of everyone? Or how can we, let's have protected bike lanes. Let's do more bus lanes. Like I love the, slow streets that we're having in downtown. I want to see more of them, across Culver City. I'm here in Fox Hills now. We had the Fox Hills Neighborhood Association meet and greet earlier. And, I was talking about like having more crosswalks because, folks flying down some of these streets sometimes, and, having safe passage and the ability to navigate our city is incredibly important. So all these things work together. And like, I don't know, do you have any tips or how can we better work with LA or Inglewood, or, how can we better navigate these cities and get folks to buy into this vision of like, we can actually be clean. We can actually do things to make our cities better and less car centric and more healthy for everyone, because that is for the betterment of our entire region, right? So
yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of what we're doing right now. So I'll mention a couple of these regional bodies. The South Coast Air Quality Management District, they oversee air quality planning and mitigation work. That we have the 405. I live just about a little over 1,000 feet from the 405 freeway, and that's like a major pollutant. Like traffic went down, but it's still going. And then the heavy duty vehicles along there, that's some serious. The particulate matter is a health issue. Right. So 5 out of the 13 members of who make up their governing board are people of color, and that's for all the LAOC, Riverside, San Bernardino County region. That's not proportionate. And the West Side Cities Council of Government, there's one person on that board who's a person of color. So I think it's more of this pipeline building that you were talking about, Yasmine, of you're the start of something, but not the end of something, and getting more folks to to make the leap onto council. And then there's structural reasons why that's not not easy, right. But it deserves the attention that it deserves, because we have this severe underrepresentation on these boards, which are the only mechanisms we have to like really come up with like structured memorandums of agreement and like the real nuts and bolts of how these infrastructure projects come together, how funding comes together. It's these weird little bodies that unless you're on a city council, you can't get onto. So again, super excited for you. And that makes it all the more important because, and there's other avenues too. So that's one, but then there's like just the working together, you know, in programs that you're in, like Emerge, or you get to know the other electeds personally.
Right.
I think that's really important for our elected officials to have those types of personal relationships, because once you get on those boards, you have to do the convincing too. So really glad you're taking part in all that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love a good program. Shout out to Emerge. I did the Emerge boot camp this weekend, so a little tired from that, but I'm rallying because it's important to be here and show up for the community.
Yeah.
So we had our GPAC meeting on Thursday, and we talked about housing and a little bit. It wasn't land use, but it was like parcel size and, you know, density, but not density, but like how many folks are living in that space. What do you think that there are some things that we can do to make sure that we're the most sustainable city in years to come? And I know we were talking about like inclusionary zoning and mixed use, and, you know, we're talking density, zoning changes, all of those things, but what are some of your thoughts on the aftermath coming out of that? And I know I think the next conversation is going to be more intentionally about land use. But what are your thoughts on some of the conversations that we've been having?
Yeah, so the state requires that our general plan have an environmental justice lens, essentially, which is a totally new aspect that hasn't ever been required before. So I think that'll really, you know, if we do it right, really drive and permeate through all parts of the general plan, because it has to, you know, have a housing section, public safety section. There's all these required sections, safety. I think if we do it really right, it's thinking about environmental justice and equity intentionally across all those parts instead of just having a chapter. That's how the sustainability plan is structured. We just thought it was important. And then also thinking about the climate impacts that we already know are coming. Just thinking about climate change specifically, like, right, we're all kind of suffering through this heat wave right now. And Culver City is like actually going to come out ahead in terms of comparative to other places that are inland if we're just thinking about extreme heat, right? So we have to think about that in the general plan of if we our housing numbers we have to attain too, because more people are going to need to live in cooler areas. I was just looking at some of the numbers from the state about extreme heat, and in days like today, it's hot, but what really has a public health, going back to my approach of thinking about public health intentionally, there are, when the nights don't cool down, that's when you have a lot of heat stress. That's when you have health emergencies, heat, and people going to the emergency room because of heat. It's when you have that issue of your body needs to cool down at night. That's how we recover. So usually we have about 4 of those extreme heat at night type of events per year. By 2070, we're supposed to have 33. That's terrible. That's what's already, coming. But in places like, if you go a little further, like Baldwin Park, it's up to 47 times a year that they can expect that, right? So we can't keep, like, as a region, putting people far away from the coast. We need to think about, we have a responsibility from sort of a climate adaptation perspective to continue to be, so we need to think about that in our sustainability, essentially, to me, is really important, is how are we inclusive in a way that considers our impending climate impacts. I have a question for you, Yasmine.
Oh, yes.
What have you found most surprising about running? I mean, obviously it's a little different than what you envisioned, I imagine, but considering everything, what have you found most surprising about running so far? Many things.
Many things. But what I like to focus on the positive. So what I'm really appreciative of are just like community members who even I didn't know that well, or they're a friend of a friend, and folks are like, how can we help you? Like, how can we tell people about what you're doing? And like, folks were trying to get yard signs, months ago, right? And you're like, we want to make sure that folks know that we're supporting you. Oh, yes. So I was trying to put a yard sign in the back, but they were So it's too big to fit in the shot, I think, but this is the yard sign. Yay!
There they are. Yes.
They are recyclable. Some yard signs are not. So this is recyclable. So it's green and good for the environment. You can go to Vote McMorrin if you're a Culver City resident and type in under support and opt in to get a yard sign. They are available. We have an awesome dedicated team that is going around and distributing them. So super excited about that. And I'm just, every day is a learning experience. I mean, I come to this, like I have formal, qualifications or, degrees or whatever, but, I come to this work wholeheartedly because I fundamentally believe the status quo is not serving us as, and we can be better and we should. And that's not a dig at anything. It's just, I wholeheartedly believe that with an equity lens, we will center and lift all boats by looking at folks who are really close to the harm and the pain. And I'm excited about how that is going to shift how we do things. So it looks like the sun is setting and it's reflecting off of my mirror here at home. I don't know what I can do about that. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I mean, it's encouraging. And, another really cool thing, I feel like I'm talking too long, but my daughter, she just turned 12. She's a little like, oh, whatever, mom, it's cool you're running, but she gets to sort of be a part of this process with me. And I'm really excited about that because I'm normalizing trying for something that you believe in. If you see something wrong, like actually being a part of the solution to try to fix it. Right. So I'm really humbled that she's, due to quarantine, we're in the home together and, we are in this process together. So those are sort of
that's super exciting. And for her to see your progress and I think to me, what I've seen about your game, like you said, is like just the folks who have come together to say that they're on board 100%. I think that is really powerful for, your daughter to be able to see is you've articulated something that's really important to you. You've dedicated a lot of time and your personal space to it. And I think that's really inspiring.
So we went a little over. Sorry, folks. But thank you for being here with us. I hope you enjoyed. Is there any questions in the chat? We want to make sure to get to those. If there's anything, let us know. Yes, request a yard sign, sign up to be an endorser, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're just trying to get the word out about what we're trying to do. And please join us. We're stronger together and donate. I think I'm going to pivot over.
Yes, I'm really excited. I encourage about this campaign, and I encourage everybody to chip in what they can to go to McMorrin for culvercity.com /donate. And if $5, $10, $32, I'm sure Yasmine would take belated birthday donations. Happy birthday. So, and above. So I'm really excited for this campaign and encourage everyone to go ahead and donate.
Yeah. And just so you know, your donations help us with mailers. They help us with yard signs, with ads, trying to get the word out. So, we're grassroots. We're trying to get this thing going, and we deeply appreciate your support. So just to give you guys, I'm trying to work with this mirror, y'all. So just to give you guys some heads up on what's coming, I'm going to have office hours next Thursday at 6. So tune in for that. I think we'll send a little mail chip out so folks can sign up for that. Also, we are going to have a town hall centered on housing, and that'll be on August 30th. So more to come on that with confirmed guests, but we're working on some really cool advocates in that space. So I'm really excited about that. And our next Connect with Yasmine event will be on September 5th, and that will be centered on arts and the creative economy. So that just gives you a little preview to what's coming. We are deeply thankful for your support and your donations. And Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. Was there anything that you wanted to close out with or leave us with or to think about? We really appreciate you being here with us.
No, I just really am excited about your approach to centering equity in all policies across Culver City, and I am excited. You'll be the first working mom, maybe
I don't want to speak
second one.
ladies. I'm not 100% sure, but I will be the first Black woman. So
First Black woman. There you go.
But I don't know about everybody's working status. But
There you go. Well, I'm excited for that. So thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
Of course. Well, all right, you guys, take good care, wear your mask, be kind to yourself and others. And thank you so much for your time you spent with us today. We appreciate it. Be well. Take care.